Welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Just going to head and get into it. Okay? I'm going to try to be as quick as I can because my eyes are getting really, really heavy. Okay? So I'm going to try to be as quick as I possibly can. Okay? First of all, I pretty much stand with Jaden Ivey, okay? And I am a firm believer in what the Bible says, okay? So I pretty much stand with Jaden Ivey. It's amazing how the Chicago Bulls are a joke of a franchise, as they are. They were a joke after Jordan left, okay? They were relevant with Derrick Rose, but this franchise has just mostly been a joke, okay? Post-Jordan, okay? This franchise has been a joke. So I stand with Jaden Ivey. I am a firm believer in what the Bible says, okay? A very firm believer in what the Bible says. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into it. Derek Harper. Derek Harper talked about what led up to his fight with JoJo English, okay, in the 1994 NBA playoffs, okay. Derek Harper talked about that, and I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm just going to let Derek Harper tell the... Hold on. Okay, yeah, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to let Derek Harper tell it, okay?
Okay, I'm ready to start whenever you are.
And he walked up to me and told me he was going to whoop my ass. I know you're from New York. I'm from Florida. And if somebody comes at you and approaches you that way, it's fighting time.
Yeah.
The hell with everything else. The hell with the playoffs. The hell with what's the nature at hand. It's time to go. So I simply said to him, no hell you won't whoop my ass. And he came towards me, man, and the melee started. I apologize to everybody, all parties involved. I had to apologize to my mother for crying out loud. She flew into that particular game. I had to apologize to the team, for the staff, for the city of New York, period. I would do it again. If he came at me the way he came at me, I would do it all over again.
Yeah. So that's how how that fight broke out in Game 3 of the 1994 Eastern Conference Semifinals, and David Stern was sitting there watching the whole thing. David Stern was sitting there watching the whole thing. Okay.
Let's go on here.
No. Okay. Yeah, and David Stern was watching the whole thing unfold. Okay.
Looking for somebody to get open. Now bounces it to Ewing. 11 on the shot clock. Ewing making a move outside. Finds Oakley, and Horace Grant will pick up the foul. All right. JoJo. Harper just delivered a blow. He's hit JoJo twice and 3 times. Harper just went after JoJo. Everybody's going on the floor now. I'm telling you, Harper went crazy after JoJo England. There's a huge mob down in the first row. JoJo being brought away. You can hear it down there. Luke Longley trying to slow down Patrick Ewing.
Okay, so that's the Bulls radio version. I'm trying to find the Huey Brown version. I'm trying to find the Hubie Brown ENT version. No. That's the Harper version. No. I'm trying to find the Hubie Brown version. The ENT version. Okay, yeah. I think that has the Hubie Brown. Yeah, this is the Hubie Brown ENT version. Yeah. Yeah, that's the version I wanted to show you, the Hubie Brown Ron Thulin TNT version, because I think that's the one that showed the shot of David Stern watching the whole thing, okay? David Stern was sitting there watching the whole thing the whole time, okay? And it nearly cost the New York Knicks because he got suspended for games 4 and 5. Derek Harper did. And it nearly cost the Knicks a series, okay? It nearly cost the Knicks a series, but yeah, apparently JoJo English came up to him and said, I'm going to whoop your ass, okay? But Derek Harper is strong as hell, okay? Derek Harper is strong as hell, okay? And you saw what had happened when he flipped over JoJo English. And, yeah, it almost cost the Knicks a series, but it didn't. And if that had costed the Knicks a series, the Knicks never beat the Bulls in the 90s, okay? Knicks never beat the Bulls in the 90s. As a matter of fact, 1981, 89, 91, 92, 93, 94, 96, okay? Between 1981 and 1996, they met 7 times in the playoffs, the Bulls and Knicks did. The first time was in 1981 when the Bulls swept them 2-0, okay? But they met in the playoffs 7 times. The Bulls were 6-1, okay? So that pretty much tells you. And if Michael Jordan was there in 1994, the Bulls go 7-0 against the Knicks in the playoffs, okay? But yeah. In today's game, you hear the word poster, okay? And obviously, poster dunking on somebody, okay? But where did the term come from? Where did the term poster come from, okay? Well, I was watching NBA. I was watching a video called NBA in the Paint, okay? And hold on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so where did the term poster come from? Okay? Where did that term start? Poster. Dr. J has the answer to that.
The doctor brought new excitement to the paint as he further elevated the game's creativity.
Watch this fantastic move by the doctor.
My first year in Philadelphia, the rookies on the team, anytime I got a breakaway shot, you know, they would always say, poster.
So we have a breakaway, Dr.
And what they referred to is any of the guards who were back on defense attempting to block it were going to end up being in a poster.
Here he comes. Way back to baby to sleep and slam dunk.
So that's not the position you wanted to be in if you were a defensive player. Get caught looking up at another guy dunking the ball.
Julius is unbelievable in a wide open situation. I have never seen anybody be able to do the things that he can do.
Being able to dunk the ball in a game was a big thrill, and it did become the punctuation point on my game. Anytime I was able to grab one off the board and throw it back down.
Yeah. So, by the way, in another video, Dr. J actually names those players who said the word poster. Okay. He said in another video I was watching, he said, anytime I got a breakaway shot, the rookies on the team, Mike Dunleavy and Terry Furlow, would yell poster. Okay. So that's where the term came from. Mike Dunleavy and Terry Furlow would yell poster. Okay. And then you heard Dr. J saying, you know, what they were referring to was, yeah, so that's how the term poster came about. Mike Dunleavy and Terry Furlow, okay? So, oftentimes, when teams are battling it out, rivalries, not rivalries, but dynasties can be ended before they start, okay? The 2000 Blazers almost ended the Lakers dynasty before it started, okay? How many teams came close to derailing the Chicago Bulls dynasty of the 1990s? They came close, but didn't happen, okay? How many times did the Milwaukee Bucks come close to winning a couple of championships in the 80s before they were stopped by Philadelphia and Boston? Okay? Potential dynasties were interrupted, or dynasties were attempted to be interrupted, but they kept on going, okay? So, which brings me to the 1962 NBA Finals, okay? Lakers and Celtics, okay? So the Lakers and Celtics first meeting at the NBA Finals was 1959. This is when Elgin Baylor was a rookie, and they got swept in the NBA Finals by the Celtics, okay? So they meet again in 1962. This is the series where Elgin Baylor scores 61 points in Game 5, okay? Elgin scores 61 points in Game 5. Lakers go up 3-2. Boston wins Game 6. Comes back to Game 7. And it comes down to the wire. And one of the guards on the team was the Utah Jazz broadcaster, who I believe has passed away. Hot Rod Hundley. Stockton! Malone! Stockton! John Stockton! The greatest assist man of all time! Yeah, that Hot Rod Hundley, okay? Anyway, Hot Rod Hundley was a guard on the Lakers, on those Laker teams in the 60s, okay? Those early Laker teams of the 60s. And so, the game is tied at 100, okay? And the Lakers are taking the ball out with a chance to win it, okay? Their first ever championship. So the ball comes into Hot Rod Hundley. He's looking for Jerry West, not open. He's looking for Elgin Baylor, not open. So he sees Frank Selvy, okay, wide open on the baseline, okay? He sees Frank Selvy wide open on the baseline. And Frank Selvy takes the shot. And Sam Jones was like, and it looked good to me. And I said, my gosh, this ball is going in. Okay? Frank Selvy misses a jumper. Game goes into overtime. Cousy dribbles out the clock. That starts the Boston Dynasty, and it's a runaway freight train. Then it's a runaway freight train, okay. And the Boston Celtics were already in the midst of that dynasty, but the Los Angeles Lakers were this close to interrupting the dynasty of the Boston Celtics. Okay, they were this close to interrupting the dynasty of the Boston Celtics because the Celtics had won in 57, 59, 60, 61. And so, yeah. Man, if Frank Selvy made that shot, oh my God. If Frank Selvy made that shot, history would have been a lot different in the 1960s, okay? NBA history would have been a lot different in the 1960s, okay? Maybe the Celtics, if Frank Selvy made that shot, the Celtics don't win 8 championships, 8 straight championships, okay? Yeah. But man, if Frank Selvy makes that shot, maybe the Lakers win 2 or 3 championships in the 60s. And probably Philadelphia, they still probably win the 1967 NBA championship. But if Frank Selvy made that shot, I think the Lakers would have won at least 2 or 3 titles in the 60s. Probably 4. Okay. But it's like Elgin Baylor said, we had chances to win. We had our chances, but it just didn't happen. So, and then Elgin Baylor, he injured his knee in the 1965 playoffs, okay? He popped his knee towards the ACL or something like that. And Chick Hearns basically said it ended his career, basically. Okay. I don't think that severe knee injury that Baylor had, I don't think it necessarily ended his career. Okay. I don't think it necessarily ended Elgin Baylor's career. But he never was the same after that, because before his knee injury, Elgin Baylor was what Dr. J was in the 70s. A leaper, had incredible hang time, had certain body movements that enabled him to get hit off shots, okay? And Dr. J said this. He said he patterned a lot of his body movement after guys like Elgin Baylor and Connie Hawkins, okay? So Dr. J studied Elgin Baylor, okay? But yeah, after he had his knee injury in the 1965 playoffs, he never was the same player. He couldn't jump up as high. He couldn't run as fast. He wasn't as athletic. So yeah, I wouldn't say it basically ended his career, but after that, he never was the same player after that. Okay. And by the time the 1972 season came around, he had been replaced by Jim McMillan, okay? He had been replaced by Jim McMillan, who was a better player than Elgin Baylor was at that time in McMillan's career. McMillan was the second or third year player. And ironically enough, and this is what really heartbreaking about Elgin Baylor, okay? So Jimmy McMahon was coming into Jimmy McMahon. I said Jimmy McMahon. Jim McMahon. Jim McMillan was coming into his own as a player, okay? And so Jim McMahon basically pushed Elgin Baylor to coming off the bench at the start of the 1972 season, okay? But here's the part that's really heartbreaking, okay? Elgin Baylor retired on the night the Lakers began their 33-game win streak, okay? Elgin Baylor retired on the night the Lakers began their 33-game win streak. Not only do they win 33 straight, but they also win the title. And I think that's what's so heartbreaking. The Lakers won the championship that year, but Elgin Baylor retired earlier in the year. Okay? So, yeah. That's heartbreaking. Because I would have loved to see Elgin Baylor get one, okay? I would have loved to see Elgin Baylor get one. Same thing happened to Pete Maravich, okay? Pete Maravich, at the end of his career, was a bench player with the Boston Celtics, okay? And he played with Larry Bird in his rookie year. Pete Maravich's knees were bad, and he didn't like coming off the bench. What do you know? The next year, the Celtics won the 81 championship. Yeah. So I would have loved to see Elgin Baylor get one. I would have loved to see Pistol Pete get one. Rest in peace. I would have loved to see Stockton and Malone get one, okay? Barkley too, okay? Yeah. I would love to see Malone and Stockton get one. Just not against the Bulls, okay? I would have loved to see Barkley get one. Just not against the Bulls, okay? Right? Yeah, so, yeah. Tough break for Elgin Baylor, man. And lastly, have y'all seen the trailer for this Jailblazers documentary that's going to come out soon? Okay? It's going to come to Netflix on April the 14th, okay? And I'm like, no. Come with it now. Come with it now, okay? We need the documentary to come out now. We can't wait another, 11 days for it, okay? We need the Jailblazers documentary come out right now, okay? But I saw all the trailer for the documentary. It comes out on Netflix April 14th. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm hyped for it, okay? I'm hyped to see that documentary. I cannot wait. I'm probably going to watch it about 15 times. Okay? I'm probably going to watch that documentary about 15 times. I just got done watching the Lamar Odom documentary. Okay? On the Netflix, okay? I'm probably going to watch it again, too. Right? But yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. That's all I wanted to talk about. That's all I got. That's it, and that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am out of here. Peace out. God bless. Jesus has risen. Happy Easter, y'all. Peace out. God bless.